Hi everyone, I'm Rihanna. Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about consistent anti-oppression. Lots of you commented on my non-vegan friends and family video and said you didn't know what this meant and that you would welcome content on it, which I was really happy about because I would love to talk about this here so we can get lots of discussion going in the comment section. So this is a video that is intended to introduce you to the idea of consistent anti-oppression, whether you yourself identify as vegan or not. And this is going to be fairly chatty as I can make it. So make yourself a tea, I've got mine. And I want to start by saying I love reading and I feel very strongly about the fact that in the same way a good book can change your life, I feel similarly about a good YouTube video, or in this context, about a new way of viewing the world and how we function in it. Something else I want to mention is how in our society we often consider changing our minds or change as a sign of great weakness, and we celebrate those people who never change their minds. But in fact, change and changing our minds really represents strength and growth and the ability to work through things and see that we are not complete yet in the place where we're going. And this is really important as activists. It's really important as just humans existing and interacting with each other, that where we understand that change is important and it's necessary for us. And I know for myself, when I think about the things that I've changed my mind on, like the big issues I've changed my mind on, they've really enriched my life and caused me to grow in ways that I never expected. Now, advocacy, and for me specifically being just one voice in this vegan community, is all about growth and learning, but most importantly, it's about unlearning, because we don't want to stay in the same conceptual space too long. We don't want to stay with the same ideas for too long because that really negates growth. I don't think we really realize how truly radical it is to accommodate animals in any sense, in our way of thinking, in our world, because they're not really considered or accommodated in the system we all partake in. But in order to accommodate them, we actually can't just include them within the framework we have in front of us, because that is, the established framework is really problematic and it is rotting. It is one that perpetuates white supremacy, capitalism, and speciesism. So that can't be how we view animals. It can't be how we accommodate animals. I mentioned this in the last video, but I want to reiterate it here. There is no such thing as a single issue. And with consistent anti-oppression, I think one of the reasons it's not really talked about in the vegan movement very widely is because it requires us to really look within ourselves and consider how we personally add to the oppression of not only non-human animals, but others. And this is deeply uncomfortable to think about ourselves as being oppressors. Consistent anti-oppression, when we get down to the root of it, it forces us to confront the fact that we are all oppressors. This is deeply, deeply uncomfortable, and that's the face of it, and that's only the start of it. We are all, in our everyday lives, upholding speciesism, racism, ableism, sexism, and often we're upholding all of these systems at the same time. And this is highly uncomfortable to confront and realize. Now, because systemic issues affect everyone, it means that we all need to reassess our behaviors and look at how we are acting. So it means that we have all been infected by these systemic issues. Nobody escapes it, nobody. Now, I'm sure I can imagine that what I've just said to you about being an oppressor is probably a lot to take in, but just go with me with this one, because I am going somewhere. Now, I can't make this video about consistent anti-oppression without talking about privilege. We all have privilege and automatic benefits over others based on where we sit on this hierarchy. Now, for me, I am a brown biracial woman, but I am still able-bodied. I am still university educated. I am middle class. I am cisgendered. These are all ways in which I benefit from these oppressive systems. So yes, I'm still a brown biracial woman, but I have all of these privileges. I also have much lighter skin than most brown and black folk, which means that I have privilege in that respect too. It makes me much more palatable for social media and here on YouTube. And I'm like highly aware of that when I'm making videos and when I'm making content anywhere. Have you considered your privileges before? Is it something that you've thought about? I really invite you to do that. It's something that's quite uncomfortable, but I think it's important to do. And even though kind of acknowledging your privileges isn't the answer to breaking down these systems, it's a really good start to be mindful of how you benefit from them. So I ask you to look within yourself and think about how you are privileged and how that helps you in your everyday life, and how also that perpetuates these oppressive systems. And if you feel comfortable to, can you write in the comments below how you benefit and what your privileges are? I personally feel a great responsibility because of the privileges and automatic benefits I have in this system to then break down this cycle of oppression, to disrupt everyone's set place. I feel because I have these privileges, it is my duty to help those who don't. I think when we acknowledge and understand that there is a common source of oppression here with all of these issues, and that is systemic white human violence, we can start to consider how that can be dismantled, how we can break that down, and how we can disrupt it. Remember that this is a system that privileges white, able-bodied, straight, university-educated, middle class, cisgendered men. Everything outside of that group is considered other. I am considered other. Are you? Now, I'd like to explain why vegans should care about the oppression of black and brown people. Historically, black people were not supposed to matter. They were not supposed to be on equal footing with white people. They were supposed to be inferior. And the same can be said of women to men. Now, the mainstream concepts of animality, whiteness, race, and gender are all intertwined with the British Empire's colonial, over 400-year-old history, which is white supremacy, capitalist, and speciesist. And that is where all of this started. In the vegan movement and in the world at large, we tend to spend a lot of time and energy calling out individuals for their racist, sexist, problematic viewpoint. And when we do that, we spend so much energy on these individual people that we center them in the conversation, which, let's face it, they often are straight, white, and male. So it's giving them a platform, and they already have a platform, and they don't need more people giving them a platform. It also makes it seem as if the problem is that person, that individual, rather than the system, which is not true. And then we are left with pretty much no energy afterwards in which to fight the oppressive system. It's a big problem because calling out these individuals perpetuates the idea that they're the cause of the problem and not the symptom, but actually the cause is white systemic human violence. Now, one of the reasons that consistent anti-oppression is particularly challenging is that it asks us as activists, as humans, to place anti-speciesism, anti-sexism, anti-racism at the center of our advocacy. Now, you will be personally affected by different forms of oppression. So for me, as a brown biracial woman, I will always place anti-racism and anti-sexism at the center of my advocacy. I'd like to round up this video by introducing you to the Bill of Consistent Anti-Oppression, which in essence was created by a group of vegans who want the non-human animal liberation movement to move forward, which it isn't right now. And the reason it's not moving forward is because we continue to center a particular kind of human who has no interest in how these different forms of oppression intersect. And if that continues, we're really not going anywhere. This is a really, really brief introduction to a massive subject. I could have said a lot more, I could continue to say a lot more, but I didn't want to put too much in the first video. I wanted to leave you to think about this subject, and I know that a lot of what I said is going to beg a lot of questions, and that's cool. Please leave them below in the comments. I really invite your questions and comments and thoughts on all of this. I'm also really aware that a lot of the things that I've said can be quite triggering. So if you find yourself feeling really uncomfortable, I'm going to ask you to sit with that uncomfortableness, because that is how we push through things and grow as people and become better advocates for animals and for other minority groups. So I've got some more questions for you as an audience. Would you like me to talk more about how animal rights intersects with other social justice movements? This is largely why I've decided to rebrand the channel. I'm not only going to make videos about veganism and zero waste anymore. I'm still going to talk about zero waste and veganism, but there's more on top of that. So that's why the channel is looking slightly different. And I want to know if you as an audience are interested in it, what you would like from me going forward. If you have specific videos you want me to make, then as always, leave them in the comments below. But I have a great interest in learning more about how different forms of oppression intersect with veganism and how they're interlinked and interconnected. That's a really, really great interest of mine. It's what I think about when I'm on my own. It's what I think about on my child-free nights. It's what I think about when I kind of go off into a daze and I'm daydreaming. Like, I'm always thinking about this. It is a great, great interest of mine. I'm really interested to learn from other communities about their struggles and their cause, because I need to do that and we need to do that in order to raise the voices of others to achieve collective and total liberation. Because we want total liberation, not just animal liberation. For the next video, I've got a couple of options for you. Would you like to see either my zero waste skincare routine or a video on toxic positivity? Please comment below and let me know. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel now, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on this content in this video, so please comment below. Don't hold back. If you feel triggered, annoyed, if you are interested in more stuff like this, please let me know, ask questions. I'm going to leave the link to the Vegan Bill of Consistent Anti-Oppression underneath, so go check that out. That's a little bit of homework for you. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.